Welcome to the Wing Life Podcast, where we talk about wing foiling and the lifestyles of those who enjoy this great sport.
Hey Benjamin, thanks for joining us on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. Looking forward to talking about winging and big air personally. That's such a topic that interests me. So when you're jumping, like how high are you jumping first of all? And then how has it progressed since the start? Because I know the wings, they're playing with a lot of different kind of canopy materials and leading edge materials now. Has that led to softer landings, giving you guys more time to boost, like all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so regarding first question, I think there like this year the limit has been like or the bar has been set pretty high regarding high jumping. Like I've seen like a couple of guys jumping already like 16, 17 meters or so. I mean that's pretty decent high. And yeah, my highest jump I think was like 15 meters last year. It was I think it wasn't a front loop or anything. It was just a straight jump before the big air competition in Pozo. Unfortunately, not in the competition. But yeah, it was just a kind of test jump. Um, yeah, and like this year, I've tried to set it a little bit to step it up a little bit, but I kind of didn't really got the like proper conditions to jump high because you need like really specific conditions to have like side shore wind to get the kickers properly, like proper good wind, like 35 plus knots, maybe like 40 knots is probably better. And yeah, because like if you have a front or like sideshore wind, like in Denmark or anywhere, then the distance between the waves is getting too small to get enough speed for jumping high. And yeah, regarding canopies and material on wings, I think that's still a pretty interesting thing
Hmm.
right now in the market because yeah, it's it's hard to say if there are like brands developing specific big air wings because the normal like freestyle wings are actually doing a pretty decent job in the big air discipline. For sure, there's like a little bit of development in the like canopy, the way how the wing is driven and how much lift it has. But you always need to get like kind of a mix to have a big hang time, but also get like good control in the air because if you just want to have a wing that goes just up in the air and stays there, then it's usually pretty hard to rotate also. And you just don't want to have a, like for me personally, I just want to have a wing that lifts me up, but also rotates me pretty good so that I can do like a front loop, back loop, or palau or one hand backflip in the air. Because I think that is the thing that, yeah, pushes me in the big air and not just like jumping high.
So regarding that, does that mean for let's say breaking it down for folks who are just kind of getting into it, a wing that allows you to get a little pop but then move, is that a wing that would sit more, will move a little bit more on land, will sit more stable? Like does the shape of the wing and how it's built in that sense contribute to you guys being able to perform better?
Yeah, I think it's. Oh, I
Yeah,
think it's not
still,
really dependent. Sorry.
it's a technical question, but still kind of just
Yeah, it's really technical.
yeah.
I'm not really that much in the wing design theme. Really into it. I'm more into like foiling testing a little bit and boards. But yeah, I think in like winging, you can't really say on the land if the wing is like stable. If it stays flat and you hold it on the neutral handle, then it's like a good wing, good and stable wing. You really need to try it on the water to get a proper like impression of it. And yeah, but you don't really need a wing that rotates like super super fast, but like that's stable and controllable on like big maneuvers. And I think that's the key point for like big air wings.
Because you're still jumping 45 feet, right? Like that's a pretty big, that's the height of a house pretty much. 15 meters is normally well, it's
Yeah.
3 feet per meter. So 45 feet is normally the height, like a, it's a height, it's pretty high. How are landings?
Well, that's another question. It's like I've already had like a couple of jumps where it's pretty hard. I already had two injuries, one pretty serious injury where I had to get surgery, and both of them on a front flip, yeah. And they both were on like a decent height. Like the one actually was a little bit stupid. Don't want to talk about that. But the other one was like, yeah, just too high, not enough wind. The wave was a little bit too big, and I was kind of underpowered because the wind was a little bit gusty. And then if you're just on a height of, I don't know, 8 to 9 meters, and you do a front flip, and then you don't really see the landing, or it's quite hard to see the landing if you do the front flip because you go like forward, and then yeah, just dropped out of the sky and broke my left foot. And yeah, so it's coming with a risk. No question about that. But if you like with the time you get to know how to land, and if it's like you need to land a little bit more like not flat but kind of like a windsurfer, I'd say. Like the back of the board should be a little bit further down than the front of the board, that you kind of slide in the water with the foil, and that way you can actually like get a like probably soft landing, I would say.
Do you think that that would be the biggest tip you would give to people at home who are starting to jump? Is how to land kind of tail first kind of thing? Is there anything else that stands out?
Yeah, definitely. I would say so because if you're jumping high, you not only need to jump high because when you're up, but then you also need to come down. It's like going
Hmm.
up on the mountain, then you're up on the mountain, okay, cool, but you also need to get down. So if you don't get the landing properly, don't think about jumping high. So you need to get the basics done on like small jumps, get them like properly done, do them like 100, 500 times, and then you can start going bigger. And yeah, I think that's a basic for it.
Okay. All right. Um, Starting off from there, like on smaller jumps, your foil will absorb a bit of the impact, right? But as soon as you get big enough, what I'm gathering is the foil does less and less, and it's more of a smackdown on the board.
Not actually.
No,
Like
no.
the foil, or let's say maybe on the smaller foils, but I'm kind of used to use a 850 carve, so it's actually quite big, and I'm using it in like probably all kind of conditions. Because I'm pretty like heavy guy, like 80, 82 kilos, and so I need a certain lift on the foil to stay up and getting up. And if you're having like an 800 foil, the foil really absorbs quite a lot of impact on the water. I've tried a couple of jumps also with the 650, like a smaller foil, and also 500, and there you feel a big difference. Like it's if you jump and the most impact is just on the board, and yeah, also on your feet. So
Okay. Now for kiting, obviously, like they'll do loops, they'll do that kind of thing to slow them down before landing, so some of them can be a smooth butter kind of touchdown. Is there anything you can do with the wing while you're in the air that helps slow you down, or do you come down kind of the same speed as a windsurfer, kind of smack down?
no, it's actually a little bit softer, I would say.
Okay.
But you need to get like a certain technique because in the air, most of the time, or most people do it like they jump up and then they just stay in one position, and the wing is like all the time fully powered on, and then the impact gets slightly harder, I would say. But there's like one trick, if you go up and then kind of let the wing depower a little bit so that the canopy is a little bit loose, and then you pull it on again, then it stops you a little bit more, I feel like. But it's also just like I feel like it, and maybe it's not also everybody who feels like it. But for me, it's like, yeah, it stops me a little bit of the impact to get a little bit slower in the water. So that's yeah how I do the big jumps.
Almost like pressing the gas kind of thing before you're going to hit a bump because it raises the front of your car kind of thing. Like it accelerates
Yeah,
a little bit, kind of, if we can use that analogy. All right.
yeah.
How did you get started into winging?
Oof, that's already quite a long time ago, huh? It's like almost 5 years ago.
It's crazy.
Um, yeah, I think I like started with windsurfing and kiting, like already at what was it? I think 10 years, 10 years of age, I think. And yeah, mostly we were skiing at home because we have the mountains right in front of the home. And in like we only have like small lakes with like a little bit of wind, like thermal wind. Sometimes we get a little bit of west wind. And yeah, so for kiting, it's actually pretty hard to go out here because we have a lot of trees and gusty winds. And if there's wind, then it's super busy and super chaotic. And for windsurfing, for the light wind days, we usually have like you need so much gear to how do you say
Enjoy.
to bring around, and it's like super annoying if you go out with like three people, the car's fully packed because everybody needs like a super big board, super big sail, and the mast, the boom, and like everything. And yeah, then the wing thing came kind of into the like Bavarian lakes, and yeah, that was like the perfect sport for here because we are mostly in summer. We have like 10 to 15 knots or so, and for that it's like perfect. You just need like two wings, maybe one board, one foil, and yeah, then my dad he got one wing by himself, and I tried by myself, and yeah, then it just came step by step, and yeah, it kind of got into rolling, and yeah.
Rolling. When did you think about competing? Because not everybody enters into that level. Did you find learning was so came pretty naturally to you that you wanted to take it to that next level?
Um, Not immediately. Like I was mostly skiing by the time I started winging, and like competitive alpine skiing. And by that time, I didn't really have time to go like winging or do a lot of water sports at home. And yeah, then skiing kind of stopped in a certain way, and like because of COVID.
Mhm.
And then I just had to, get some stuff to do. And then I went out on the water all the time, and I got kind of better and better. Not that much in freestyle in the beginning, but a little bit in racing. And yeah, then the first competitions came up, I think, already in 2020, I think. And also a couple of competitions in Silvaplana, which is in Switzerland, which is not that far away from where I live. And then I just thought about, yeah, maybe just compete, just for fun. And yeah, then it just went rolling and rolling and rolling. And I like in the first competition in Silvaplana, there weren't that many competitors. There were only like 20 competitors, and in U19, I won. Yeah, I think I won in the racing category. And then I thought, yeah, just maybe do another competition, and then another one, and then another one. And then,
Nice.
yeah,
It went from there. Because you
yeah,
were three times German champion for race and freestyle, and then GWA vice world champion for big air in 2023. So very well done in such a short period of time.
yeah, thanks.
And then winner of Toe-In Super Session. What's that? GWA World Cup 2023 in Lucat.
Uh, 20, ah, there was last year. The GWA sometimes makes if there's time left, the super sessions, like now in Dakla, where they did the surf foil, surf foil competition, and did kind of similar thing in Towin. Yeah, where we showed like mostly backflips, but also some backflips into 360s, backflip into backflip or stuff like this. And yeah.
What have you found to be your favorite move that you've worked on that has pushed you, but has kind of like the biggest payback so far?
Ooh, that's hard. There's so many moves, but I think the most like the best feeling you get on a trick is probably a stalled front flip. It's like you get a big decent kicker, big strong wind, and then you go up to like 11, maybe 12 meters or so. And then you just wait, and do a stalled forward. That's like probably the best feeling. But for like best trick, I would say actually the backflip. I would say
Hmm.
because you can do it like in like almost all conditions from light wind to strong wind. I can do it in like flat water, super choppy water, like big waves and like all kind of conditions. And yeah, that's
Talking about
probably the best feeling or the best one for me.
talking about that stalled front flip. Um, any kind of hesitation when you're getting that high? You just have to commit, blindly turn into, hope everything goes well.
Uh, yeah, kind of. But you also need to prepare yourself a little bit. So because like when I had my injury last year, I kind of stopped doing front flips for quite a long time actually. For like 3 to 4 months, I couldn't really like properly do front flips because my mind just said, no, stop.
Hmm.
And or like I had like really some really bad days doing them because my technique kind of changed a little bit after my injury. So before I went like kind of a rally up, and then I flipped over to like on the highest point. I got the momentum of the wing, and then I flipped over, and afterwards I did a little bit more like a windsurfer. And for winging, that's actually not that good because then the impacts are getting harder. And now, by the time I got it like I did before my injury, um, and yeah, so you most of the time before like a warm up is pretty important, I would say, just to warm up your ankles, your muscles, so that they know that you're ready. Because if you do big jumps, the impacts are also big.
Hmm.
And yeah, then just really don't start with the big kickers right in the beginning. Just take it easy in the beginning, take some smaller kickers, do some smaller jumps, and then do it step by step, going a little bit bigger every time. And yeah,
Okay. Well, that's good advice to take home because if people are watching, we don't necessarily hear about the back end things of injuries and how hard those impacts really are. Because I know the sport will
yeah,
just keep going on the high, keep tracking forward, but we also want to see how is it for how hard is it on your body, how many people should do it, who should avoid doing this stuff because they might see
yeah.
it like, oh yeah, I want to go try this, and then what could possibly happen. And
Let's say like, actually like the impacts are actually not that hard, but if you have like one jump that is totally messed up and you stay in your footstraps, that is the jump where you really mess up. Because then you're
okay.
still in your footstraps, the impact is super hard, and you twist your ankle in your footstrap or whatever. But most of the time, the impacts are like, let's say, okay, so you can withstand it, like usually, but then you have that one jump where everything goes down, you don't get the momentum or whatever, and then
So what initially kind of inspired you to get into foiling? What discipline were you in skiing? I just want to ask that because it might lead to some of your acrobatics. Is it racing, kind of moguls? What were you into?
I was in alpine skiing in
Okay.
slalom, giant slalom, and super G. Yeah, so mostly racing, but beside that, I also did like a little bit of free skiing and like free riding when there was a little bit of time left.
Because how?
And
Because not everyone pull off those acrobatic tricks in the air. Like, did that take a lot of practice, or did that kind of come more naturally?
like a little bit of both, I would say. I did. quite a lot of sports when I was like I think it's called the golden age, like between 8 or 12 years old, where
Mm.
you learn like most of your motorical achievements, I would say. There, like I did a lot of trampoline in at the house and the backyard. Played a little bit of football, tennis, like doing a little bit of everything. And I think that resulted in like knowing how to move your body right when you're old or getting older. And
Yep.
yeah, so I would say that's the key point. Yeah.
That helped out definitely. Okay. And so was it your dad that kind of initially got in? Like you guys do it as a family?
Yeah. Like my dad, he was kiting already for like, I don't know, 30 years, 35 years or so. And
Okay.
before he was windsurfing a lot of times. And yeah, he just went like also goes to the lake every weekend when there's wind. So he just took me with him, and then yeah, just he's put me on the board on the windsurfer in the beginning, and then on the kite, and most of the times on the kite in the holidays. And yeah, then it all came step by step, and just moved on, learned the jibe on the windsurfer, and yeah.
Planing job?
Yeah, planing jibe actually, I just learned like 3 weeks ago in Denmark.
Sick.
Um,
Hard, eh?
but with the front loop, and yeah, then but like most of the time we were foiling here on the lake, so I most of the time just knew how to windsurf on the foil.
Oh, nice. Okay. Matt
Yeah.
wanted to know, like one of our team members, how you prepare mentally and physically for competitions, especially major events like a World Cup.
Um, yeah, like physically, I'll try to stretch myself, well, like regularly. Like I'm honest, I'm not getting to it like every evening or every second evening, but I should do it. And then, yeah, uh, mostly or really important is like the warm up before the competition. Because it's like kind of a ritual, I would say, where you get into shape, you prepare yourself, not only your body, but also your mind to get ready for the competition. And yeah, that's where I mostly mobilize my ankles all over the body, from like shoulder to foot to knee to everything, and warm up my muscles to get ready. And mentally, I actually haven't done anything, but I think I will do in the future something for it, because I really underestimated in the past how important your mind is. Because yeah, most people also just underestimate how important it is to have the right mindset, to get prepared for competition, to get all your stuff together, to be prepared, and yeah.
Because some, like when I talk to Cash and some other guys that are on tour, their focus is more so on they love the sport and this gives them an opportunity to love it even more kind of thing. So they stay in that kind of mindset. Other people get more super focused on the competitive aspect of things. So it differs for athlete to athlete, I find. And then you have people on the shore helping you, making sure that you know how many points you're ahead or behind. And there's a lot that goes into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is definitely. I think it's like how Cash is saying it. It's super important to not lose the fun during the competition, because if you take it too seriously, then you just get like it doesn't get fluid anymore. No, then the jumps are not that good anymore. The takeoffs aren't that good anymore. So you still need to have that kind of like fun in the competition. But if you see the other guys like Chris or Malo when you're in the final in the big air like this year, how focused they are, then you also need to stay focused. You just
Hmm.
don't, or you're not really just can have like fun. You still
Hmm.
should have fun and also have fun during the jumps. But you need to go to the competition with a kind of like competition mindset, because otherwise then it doesn't work from a certain point anymore. The others just like go a step ahead, and then it's like you can't follow anymore.
And it's getting more and more competitive as the season's
Yeah,
going.
yeah, it is.
Mm. Any kind of young guns that you see just entered that are throwing stuff, because there's people who are just practicing in the background, and then they're gonna slowly get into it. Anybody stand out?
I know someone that is like he's pretty young still, but he's also coming here from my region. And I'm pretty stoked that there's another one because like here it's like mostly low wind, and the competitions
Mhm.
are most of the time like strong wind where you can ride where I can ride a 3 meter. So it's most of the time like proper wind. It's Franz Rappolder right here from Bavaria. Maybe you heard of him, maybe not, I'm not sure.
No, I'll look them up.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well in freestyle, and if I think if he keeps on, then yeah, why not? I think he can compete on the GWA for freestyle. That's for sure.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, good for him. Yeah, it's a lot of hard work. What's your next trick or maneuver that you're wanting to learn or practicing that you can share? If it's something secret you want to keep in the bag, you don't have to, but
No, I think like it's my main focus right now, over the last 2 months, was like big air and training for surf freestyle. Um, but currently I'm trying to get the back mode properly. I know there are already like so many people that got them unlocked already. I got them unlocked like beginning of this year already in Cape Town. Um, but then I kind of like it doesn't get going anymore like that good,
hmm.
because if I go for the back mob, I don't really get the handle, and yeah, I'm still training for it.
What do you find most challenging aspect of it?
To get the right timing to grab the handle again during the handle pass.
Hmm.
That's the most challenging part, because if you don't get the handle, then the trick is messed up.
Hmm.
And yeah,
Okay. Now, you've gotten to travel to some pretty cool destinations. Is there any that stand out the most?
which I traveled already or which I want to travel.
Hmm. Or both?
Uh, I think like I've been the last 2 months in Denmark and Cold Hawaii. That's, I think, for me the probably best spot. For doing like everything, to go riding waves, to go like bigger, to go for freestyle. I know it's a little bit colder up there, but for like winging, it's like a dreamland. Because you have so many like round waves that are not durable for wave riding and windsurfing or in kiting, but it's like perfect for wing foiling. And yeah, also we got some pretty heavy storms up there with like 60, 65 knots, and then there's like 4 meter waves on 14 seconds or so.
Whoa. It's getting bigger, eh? 4 meters,
Yeah,
15 feet. Yeah, that's getting bigger. Yeah.
yeah.
Whoa. Now, what's colder mean to you?
Cold in Denmark, like in summer, you can, like, I usually wear a 4-3 wetsuit. So it's like depending on the weather direction, if it's like east wind or west wind, from let's say 23 to 15 degrees. Depending on like which wind is coming, because east wind is most of the time pretty cold, west wind is a little bit warmer. And then when the like proper good season starts in September, it's getting a little bit colder, and it's like 13 degrees, 15. So I most of the time, like mostly I wear a 5-4 wetsuit.
Okay. But the ocean's fairly chilly, eh?
Yeah, it was chilly now. Or you mean with temperatures?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, like it got a little bit colder uh, when the water from the Arctic poles came down, because then it got colder step by step, and it also sometimes I froze my ass off in the water, but it was just by the end now in beginning of October. So
Any places that you're really looking forward to going for the first time?
yeah, I think there are a lot. The world is so big to
It-
travel all of them. I definitely want to go to the like northern countries like Norway, Iceland, Ireland, Scotland maybe to get some like good storms in the pocket.
oh, that would be cool.
I definitely want to go to Hawaii one day too,
Mm.
and oh yeah, I think that are like the most important stops I want to go.
I think up north, I have some friends that live in Ireland, and they get some good storms up there. Scotland would just be cool for the food, for the people.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would be sweet. So whereabouts are you in Germany?
in southern Germany, south of Munich,
Okay, the guys are
like
in.
right in front of the Alps.
Oh, nice. Yeah, ski. You got some of the best skiing in the world. It must be unbelievable.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, we grew up in outside of my family's from Quebec, so we have some decent mountains out there. And then my brother's in BC right now. So British Columbia, one of the best mountains in Canada. But the Swiss and German and French Alps has always been on our list because we're big skiers as well. We learned when we were super young. And such a nice feeling to be on snow. Do you miss being on snow when you're on water like most of the year? Or is it something that's kind of transitioned?
sometimes a little bit, but water is just frozen snow. So frozen water, sorry. So we're kind of
Yeah.
in the snow.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, sometimes I miss a little bit of skiing, especially the free riding in the powder.
Mhm.
But also when I'm sometimes in like during Christmas or so, or also a little bit afterwards, we get some. If we get some good snowstorms here, we go also for like snow kiting, and that's like super fun. Um, so I usually get also a couple of days in the year where I can go like skiing or snow kiting or so anything like this.
When you're not, what do you do for training when you're not on the water? Do you hit the gym a lot? Are there specific kind of eating routine that you follow? Any of that kind of thing?
Uh, like eating routine, not really. I try to get like healthy food because it's just better anyway. Also, if you're not in sports, so that's important anyway. And so a lot of salad. Now in Denmark, I ate a lot of like fresh fish.
Mm.
And yeah, just eating a lot of salad and fruits and stuff like this. And for training, like when I was home, after my injury, I hit the gym for quite a long time. Did like a lot of training for my legs to get them strong again. And yeah, but now since the season started probably in like June, I haven't been in the gym anymore, but I should be. So yeah,
Hmm. It's hard to keep up when you get very busy with other stuff, eh? But I think
yeah, it
it
is.
adds a certain level of toughness and rigidity, especially as you get older. I noticed that big time with my strength getting back up because I've been hitting the gym for a couple of years more consistently now, and definitely helps out with everything. Keeps your joints a little bit more bulletproof. Um,
Yeah.
are you? So what are we now? We're early October. I think you had mentioned that you have one more event to go to this year to wrap up the year.
Yeah.
Okay,
The one in Brazil in Jericoacoa.
how is it there? That's on my list of places to go to.
I actually don't know. I have never been there.
It'll be your first time too. Oh, sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I've heard of it was pretty decent. Like long, I think it is a point break, is it? Going down the coast. And yeah, the wind is pretty good there. Like 20, 25 through 30 knots every single day in the afternoon.
Okay, I'll have to check in then and ask you because that's coming up November 26th to November 30th. Yeah, that should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
It'll be a surf freestyle and a free fly slalom. Um, which aspect are you looking forward to the most? You're looking forward to the surf, or are you competing in both? First of all,
Uh, in surf freestyle or in
Hmm.
slalom?
Are you doing both or just one?
Yeah, I do both. Yeah, but in surf freestyle, I just try to do like mixing up the surf and freestyle. I think that's the most fun part about wing foiling, to mix up the freestyling in the waves. I've done that a couple of times now in Denmark, where I've trained the waves like they're like kind of in Brazil. Just do like backflip, front flip, like a Palau, like one-handed backflip, or like a um, what is it called? Like a 360 spinning below the wing, on the wave, and everything, all the kind of stuff you can do on the wave. I think that's what winging is about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also the most fun, just playing around in the waves, and that's what it's meant for.
What how are your foil slides? Is that like we've seen a lot of guys on tour do them? Is it
On the wave, or
yeah, is it difficult? Like there are certain angles you have to keep your foil so the whole thing doesn't explode on you?
yeah, you really like, the most important is to lean back, but not to jump on the takeoff. So you like really, really lean back, but if you take off just a little bit too high, then you're jumping and getting back on the water, and then you're not like sliding. And you also need to get the right point on the wave, because if the wave is just not steep enough, then you just drop out of the wave now. Yeah, but it's not too hard, I would say. So if you are powered up properly and got a good wave, I think, yeah, you can learn it pretty fast.
Okay, I'm riding strapless right now, but I was considering strapping up if I was going to get a smaller board this winter from Mexico, and then I could play around with a few little different things. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you can do it also strapless, huh?
yeah, that's true. I guess I could try. But then, so
Yeah.
you going for a mini jump? Are you just going so that your foil is going to slowly come up to the surface? Like what do you think would be?
I would say to like getting speed, and then don't do it too slow, like getting with the foil out of the water. Because if you're doing it too slow, then the speed kind of gets a little bit less, and the slide isn't too long anymore. So I would say just do it like a jump where you take off, but really keep the foil low on the water level, on the water surface.
I got a lot to practice this winter. I think it's going to be pretty fun. Any plans for winter for you?
Not yet. But yeah, yeah, maybe Tarifa, I think. But I haven't planned anything fixed yet. So
It's all right. Yeah, Tarifa's on another one on the list. That's beautiful. I guess Zavi Core and a whole bunch of other kids are from there.
yeah,
Yeah, that'd be
training a lot of freestyle there.
no kidding. I think if you
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty sweet spot to go. Nice. Is there anything else you want to talk with us about today?
uh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, we can talk. I don't know.
Oh, what equipment are you riding? I guess we can go there.
Oh, yeah. That like board board size right now is 4.9, 65 liter. I stepped it up this year from 55 liter last year, because I just got heavier, and like with the competition now in Tarifa this year, you really saw like in light winds you have a pretty big disadvantage if you're when you're on a small board, and that's why I went up one size bigger, Sky Style SLS.
Hmm.
And for foils, I use 82 centimeter mass D-Lab. Um, I also switched down from one size bigger from 90 centimeter because like until last year I was riding always the 90 centimeter mast because I kind of felt like that you get a little bit of better pop because you just have a bit more room to go with the board up and down before the takeoff. But I actually realized this year on Fuerteventura that the like the that the landing gets a lot more unstable with the longer mast,
Oh, that could.
especially for like combos or
Mhm.
stuff like this. Because when the distance between the board and the foil is too long and you land, then the time also is longer. And then you have more time to like twist your board to the front, to the side, or to the back, or wherever. And for combos, like I mean, we also the like backflip to backflip to backflip, or like backflip to front flip combos and stuff. And if you don't get a proper pop on the second jump, then it just doesn't work. And yeah, that's why I went down for one size smaller. Yeah, and like
Hmm.
foil, I use actually all the time 850 Carve 2.0. That's like my one-to go foil. I use it in all kind of conditions, from like 10 knots to 50 knots.
It is a nice size, isn't it?
Yeah,
Hmm. And
also
you're
perfect for my weight side, for my weight.
85 kg, you said?
Yeah, like 80, 82, 83.
82. Okay, and 82, so you're minus almost minus 20 then from kg to board size.
But the new boards from Duotone are actually like you kind of feel you have a bigger board below your feet than you actually have.
Hmm.
It's pretty interesting, actually. I'm not sure why it is, but it's like the first time I stepped on them, it's like, whoa, what the fuck? It's like 10 liters more or so.
Interesting.
But they're actually like they are because last year I got a prototype with like 55 liters, and it got the same or the new shape already. But I didn't know, and then I was like, whoa, I float a lot higher than with the previous board. So it's like I'm not sure why, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Is it
pretty good.
maybe the volume distribution is a little bit different?
Yeah, it's kind of different. So it feels like that the board is a little bit more compact. Um, like the whole board shape is just a little bit, or it feels a little bit more compact. It's a little bit, I feel like wider in the thickness.
Anything kind of exciting in the new gear this year? Like you're riding 2025? Is it custom stuff that you have or production?
No, it's all production.
Oh, production? And
Yeah.
you've ridden most of the stuff that they just released?
Yeah, like everything now. The new wings are mostly white in the D-Lib because they just have the most power. Um, Also for like strong winds, they can hold the power for the longest time. So if you're overpowered, the D-Lib just or the Alula just doesn't bend as fast as the like SLS wings or original wings. Um, and yeah. So, and I also ride it most of the time with the boom.
So
Yeah, it's
major
just
differences from last year to this year. The boards are a bit more compact. They feel like they have a bit more float. And then obviously
yeah,
the boom, right? That was the major difference this year
yeah,
for D Lab.
yeah. The boom was like the major big difference, I would say. It's a lot easier to just do like all the handle pass tricks. That's true. But
Hmm.
also for like bigger, it's just a lot more handier if you just can go with the hands like this and like this, and you just don't have to go like this. Um, it's just easier and everything. And yeah, but the shape also from the wing switched a little bit. So the middle tube isn't that. So the previous ones, the 24 units were on the middle tube. They like were a little bit further away from the front tube, and now it's like on one level.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Yeah,
different kind of shape. with it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Do you prefer this year better than or last year? Or?
Yeah. Yeah. Like this year's one feels a lot more stiffer, has a lot more power, and
How do you feel riding for Duotone? They're a pretty big brand. They got some pretty good athletes under there. How does that feel?
I'm actually pretty happy with them,
Yeah,
so can't complain now.
good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got most of. I think their headquarters is out your way.
Yeah, it's like 20 minutes away from my house.
Have you gotten factory tour? Want to kind of check out a little bit of the behind the scenes at all?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that would be interesting. We would love to
No, I know most
ask
of the
about that.
guys there that are working behind the scenery, and
Are you
yeah,
able to, obviously, I think you mentioned that you were a little bit more into foil development, more so than boards and wings?
yeah, kind of. Yeah, I tried a lot of stuff with the guys and like foils, testing a little bit of mast, and like new foils that are also coming, and also for pump foiling, I did quite a bit.
Hmm. Anything that you can share with us?
Uh,
Your ideas of where it's going. Let's go there.
in like pump foiling or
'Cause I just tried pump foiling for the first time this year in Hood River, and
yeah,
pretty difficult. Like I saw a video from the guys at Matt Kiteboarding because North is just releasing their dock starter, which you can tie to a dock and get off. And I was playing with that with Marley and Hugh and the guys from North. And
a dog starter.
yeah, the dock starter.
What, what's that?
Oh, so it's an inflatable. Let me see if I can send it. I'll send it over to you afterwards. But let me see here, dock
Yeah,
starter. It's an inflatable kind of setup. And what you do is you tie it. Here's a Matt kiteboarding video. I think they made it with PVC tubing, and you end up putting your to it. You run off the dock. You kind of do this kind of skimboard motion, hop on it, and then you're right away pump foiling. So it's pretty cool. I think I'm in 10 tries, 10, 15 tries. But my goal is to be able to get it eventually next year. So next time I'm down, because I don't have a pump foiling setup at home.
that's actually pretty good idea.
Mhm.
No, I think like pump foiling is like really under the radar of most people,
Mhm.
because winging is just growing so fast. But for like, I have been in Hamburg shooting a little video beginning of the summer with Duratron together, and there are like so many people on like a local dock in Hamburg because there's like a little lake right in the city, and like every, I don't know, Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, or whenever they have time or fun or want to go, they just all meet together at the dock in like in the middle of the city. And for that, pump foiling is like pretty cool, I think. Huh?
Hmm. It's hard. Did you find it challenging to get started with?
In the beginning, a little bit, yeah, it's
Hmm.
challenging for sure. But like I got it within a couple of tries, but I also had already like a big, um, a lot of experience before from like windsurfing, kiting, wing foiling, and so. But if you're like a total beginner to water sports, it's pretty hard probably to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because what I found right away was like I know how to pump and wing and all that, but what I found the most challenging was it felt like there was quite a bit of front foot pressure as soon as I took off, and then it just felt like there was an acceleration upwards. So I'm just gonna have to put more time into it. But it took the guys a little while actually. They weren't for somebody who had never done it, it's either that they're gonna go off and fall off the front of the board, or they're gonna like kind of backflip the board, and they have to be careful that way. But I can see it being pretty fun, and when they get it, it looks amazing. So definitely something to practice
yeah,
next.
yeah. I think the most challenging is just to get on the board, huh?
Hmm.
Because just to go on the board, stand right on the right place with your feet. That's I think the most challenging.
Hmm.
But if you get going, then it's pretty fun, eh? And like you can also go like we had already like the first like official races and pump boiling here in Germany with
Oh,
already some like I think it was some good or a little bit of prize money where they did like a little course within like in the middle of the city, and there were like hundreds of people watching. So I think for that it's pretty cool.
yeah, especially if you can't, if there is no wind and you want to get some exercise and still get out. Um,
Yeah.
Definitely. So, what do you think would make the experience a little bit easier foil wise? Like, do you have ideas and things that you feel that the foils could get tweaked or changed or improved?
I think the market is pretty like there are quite a lot of foils to choose from to get the right one. There are also like is a lot of variety from the aspect ratio to get the right proper front ring. And also there are like some foils that are like super high aspect where you can glide like endless, and also a lot of foils that are like rather low aspect to get like good turns and also use it for freestyle. So I think like foil wise, the market is like there. I think there's enough.
Okay.
But obviously it all develops all the time. You know, there's like so
Yeah.
much still so much development in the whole foiling game, and I think there's also still a lot room for more to go further up in like pumping efficiency, speed, and yeah.
So, if somebody was gonna say, "Hey, whatever, I'm in Germany, I want to learn this," and they're already duotone riders, what do you think would be a good setup for them to start?
I would say, are they? Yeah, I'd say if you know already how to wing, go with the 175 amp. If you're like total beginner, then go with the 2145 amp. That's like one size bigger.
Okay.
And yeah, I most of the time use the H180 back wing. It's a high aspect wing to get good glide. And I actually also use it for the big foil. But yeah, actually most of the time I don't wear the big foil because it's too big for me.
Fair enough.
I rather use like smaller foils. And yeah, if you really know how to pump foil and want to get more into cruising around, or like not cruising, but go into freestyle pump foiling, I would say go with the Wiz 1450. That's I'm not sure you know what the Wiz or it's
No.
a prone foil from Duotone. They launched I think in June now.
1950 duotone.
And the funny thing is, it's bent up like this. So usually all the foils are bent like downwards a little bit. But this foil is like this. So if you watch from the front, then it looks quite a bit funny.
Oh,
But it's super efficient in like pumping, and low end speed is it's like crazy.
and how's the roll then? That roll must be,
But super curvy.
oh,
So
interesting.
you can go for such like close turns, and on the wave, it's so good for like prone foiling.
Oh, yeah.
And the big size then also for pump filing.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. I'll have to try some more next year when I'm back at AWSI. I'll be able to try it. We had no wind this year, and so we didn't get to try any of the gear out. We just got to talk to, like, I talked to Jeffrey there, and he introduced the boards, but we didn't get to try anything out on the water. But hopefully next year. But yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
hope Brazil goes well, and I hope you have some fun there and get to try some of their awesome food. I think that would be a
yeah, I hope so too.
pretty sweet trip. How how's packing? Do you bring 3, 4 board bags? Um, how do you normally bring your whole setup down?
Yeah, just board bags,
Board bag.
board bags over board bags over board bags.
Board.
But actually, like this year to the Canaries, I drove by car. because last year it was so annoying to go with the plane because I really had some struggles with the board bags because they didn't send me a message that it's confirmed that they're gonna take the board bags with them, and then on the airport it was such a struggle. And I hope it works now for Brazil. But I'm probably gonna go with like two board bags if it's enough. Maybe I need to get a third one. Because for competition you just need everything in double or three times. Because if just something happens, I don't know, you crash with your foil in the wing or anything, then you just need a backup. And same for the boards and everything else. And yeah.
Now, like I went last year, I brought two board bags myself, so it was like 100 and some pounds on, and they aren't wheelies. So, are you bringing wheelie bags? Do you have people to help you? Do you get one of those magic carts? Like, I just saw some videos of people with four or five, like the pros carrying four or five gear bags. And it's like, how the heck are you guys even getting to check out with that?
No, I think the wheel bags are the best ones for that.
You end up paying oversized and overweight baggage fees. So you end up paying two baggage fees in essence, because normally the wheelie bags are heavier.
No, I think just the fee for the board bag.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I also saw some windsurfers, like Marco Lang, he's an Austrian windsurfer, also pro windsurfer, and he like had like when he came to the Canaries, he had like 7 or 8 board bags. I was wondering, like, how do you manage to get all that stuff even into the plane? All by himself. He was alone.
He was alone.
So
800 bucks,
yeah,
$800 in bag fees, I guess, is what he ends up paying.
yeah.
Something like that. And then somehow you're gonna bring all that stuff through customs and oh my God.
Mm,
I guess he's showing up 4 or 5 hours ahead just to get his bags in.
yeah, at least.
I only had two and I was like, it was a struggle. Because they were both around 50 some pounds. And a few tricks when you put the board bag down, everybody charges a different fee in Canada for board bags. It's hilarious. So you'll bring it, they don't know what it is. So like, oh wow, you do something. And then and if you put the nose on and you lift the tail or something a little bit, it doesn't weigh as much. All these little techniques.
Uh,
You get it? Because
yeah,
they oversize, overweight, and but yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things that are a pain, but oh well. Well, hey man, thanks for taking the time. Come chat with us today. It's good to meet you a little bit and chat with you a bit more.
thanks from my side also.
Yeah,
Thanks for being in the podcast.
and I hope you enjoy. What is it today? Today's what, Wednesday? Any wind coming near forecast time for you?
Yeah, actually, I have been on the water today. We had some pretty decent, strong foehn wind, with like 35 knots, but like super gusty, but pretty strong. And yeah, it's one of the rare times where we have strong wind. Not that often.
No.
No.
Well, hey, we'll have to keep in touch. Let us know how the contest goes. And
Yeah, I'll do.
yeah, thanks a lot for joining, and thanks everybody for tuning in.
Thanks. Bye.